I'm going to take a couple minutes in today's episode and talk about optics. And it's something that I carry every single time I'm deer hunting. And I've been doing it since well before we started Midwest Whitetail. In fact, for as long as I can remember, I've always had binoculars around my neck. And more recently, rangefinders. Back in the old day, we used to pace off the distances around our tree stands. We would have reference marks out there, and then I'd carry a little notebook and I'd write down how far each reference point was from the tree stand. And I'd get in the tree and I'd look at that, and that would refresh my memory. Well, now we've got the laser rangefinder, which obviously I wouldn't be. I mean, I'd almost as soon not have my bow as not have my rangefinder with me. They're super critical, and I use it on almost every shot. Obviously, on close shots you don't need them, but any shot past 25 yards, the ranging error that we have as humans, and even the best people who practice all the time still have a ranging error that can be as much as 10 to 15%. That's going to dictate your maximum range way more than your ability to shoot a bow. So you always want to make sure that you're getting accurate range information. I'm pretty good out to 50 yards if I know the distance. If I don't know the distance, my maximum range when I'm guessing is probably going to be about 35 yards, because that margin for error that you build in, just not being able to hit the range accurately enough takes away a lot of your effective kill zone. It just gets smaller because of your range error. So anyway, keep that in mind. They're getting to be really quite affordable. This is the Nikon Archer's Choice, and it's designed for bow hunting. It's accurate at closer distances. Doesn't have the super long maximum range like some of the rifle. The ones that are designed more for gun hunting, rifle hunting. It has a nice wide field of view, so when you pull it up, you can find your target quick in there. That's the main thing. You want to be quick, accurate, and then get it out of your hand and get the bow in your hand and get drawn. So when it comes to the binoculars, being able to see the deer, being able to pick a deer out of the woods, that's all super important, because a lot of times we call deer in. And I figured out recently that at least 50% of the bucks that I've ever killed, I called into bow range. So being able to size a deer up and maybe just see that flicker of movement in the woods, you pull the binoculars up and you go, oh, that's a shooter buck. And you get on the grunt call and you bring him in and you get the deer killed. The optics basically produced that opportunity. It also helps us when we're patterning deer. Like you might see a deer cross the other end of a field, or you see something moving through the woods. And we get so few information points or data points on some of these bucks that we're hunting that every single one is super important. So if I can determine that deer that I saw at the other end of the food plot is the buck that I'm hunting, or that movement that I saw back in the timber, was in fact this buck that I've been hunting, that's one more piece of information that I can factor in when I'm trying to pattern that deer and figure out the exact perfect place for a tree stand. The other thing that's kind of overlooked on binoculars is their ability to gather light. And I use that feature probably almost as much as any other, especially at the end of the day when I'm hunting. And I'm always trying to avoid deer when I'm leaving my tree stands. So I always want to make sure before I get down what's around me, study everything and find out if there's deer, in some area that we have to try to avoid when we're sneaking out. Or as we're actually sneaking out, we may cross over a little rise. I want to check and make sure there's no deer out there before we go across that next opening. And I can't see them with the naked eye because our eyes, aren't as good at drawing light in. If your pupil was as big around as that circle, you can pull in a lot of light. So these things really do, like I said, they improve our ability to see in really low light conditions. This one is the Monarch. This one's the Monarch 5 from Nikon. It's not an expensive binocular, and you can tell by how beat up it is. I've been carrying this for a couple of seasons. They're really durable. This one does everything I need it to do, and I think it's only just a couple $100. So this is the kind of stuff that I'd recommend. It's fun to carry those $1,500 binoculars, and maybe if you're going out west, where you're going to have binoculars in front of your eyes for, several hours each day, the Nikon Edge would be a great choice for that. But just for the type of stuff that we do here, whitetail hunting, you know, a good high quality mid-price like the Monarch series is ideal. So anyway, that brings you up to date on my feeling on optics. They're super important. They're another tool that we carry as whitetail hunters that you know, I wouldn't want to leave at home.